Welcome to HP's Kitchen. My name is Hassan. I will be showing you how to make feta cheese today. The wonderful cheese that is very simple to make, and I am using 2 gallons of whole milk, pasteurized. Do not use low fat or non-fat milk, and do not use ultra pasteurized. Believe me, ultra pasteurized do not work. So in order to make that, we have already heated the milk to about 90 Fahrenheit. In addition to the milk, we need lipase, which is an enzyme. We'll add that for a wonderful taste that without it, the feta cheese will not taste like feta cheese. We also need calcium chloride. In order to put calcium chloride, because the milk is not a raw milk, so therefore we have to add the calcium chloride. And then later we will be using rennet, which is the bacteria that we will be adding to the milk in order to solidify it and make it into the cheese. Okay, at this time I will go ahead and put 1 teaspoon for 2 gallons of milk, 1 teaspoon of lipase into non-chlorinated cold water, and we also will use 1 teaspoon of calcium chloride We go ahead and add the lipase and calcium chloride to our milk. We add the lipase. And we go ahead and mix that. Then we add 3 or 4 spoons of fresh yogurt. Okay, now at this point we will leave the milk at about 90 temperature for 2 hours until the yogurt starts what is called blooming, and we'll get back to you after the 2 hours. It's been about 3 hours that we have added the rennet, and we have kept this milk in the room with the temperature around 90, 85, 90 temperature. Now we're using the laundry room because it's a small space and we can control the temperature. Now any way, form or shape that you can keep the temperature between 80 to 90 degrees, it will work. You can probably put some kind of a comforter around it or on the top of it or whatever, but in any regard, if you look now, you can see that this milk is no longer has a milk consistency. It is almost solid, and now it's time to give the first cut. And in order to do that, we will go at 1/2 inch increments, go all the way down and cut, and then you can see we do this in order to separate the whey from the solids. And by doing that, we begin the process of making this into a feta cheese. Go around it. Now, we'll make these into 1/2 inch increment. And as you can see, the whey is beginning to separate from the solid. Now, we went in one direction. Now, in the second direction, we are going to cut this at a 45-degree angle. And that is how it's done. Okay, the first cut is done. Now if you can see, we will go ahead and do a little separation, and we will allow it to rest for 1/2 hour, and then we will come back and do the rest of the process. We're not that far away from almost finalizing the solidification of the cheese process. And as you can see, the whey and the solids are separate. Okay, it's been about 1/2 hour since we cut the feta cheese, and as you can see, it is completely separated. And now we can go ahead and move this. And as you can see, there's more you turn this, the more it is going to separate. And you can see the whey and the solids. So we go ahead and start pouring this into a drainer that we have created here. I have a cheesecloth in a basket that drains into a pot, and we need to keep some of the whey so we can later use the whey to put the cheese in. So we go ahead and slowly put, and as you can see, it's completely draining, and The reason I am making 2 gallons because the process takes a while to do, and also as the cheese gets older it becomes a lot more tasteful. So having 1 gallon, or it probably will not be advantageous. So that's why I make 2 gallons. If you want, you can make more, and you can change the percentages of ingredients accordingly. And as you can see, it's all draining, and the way as you can see, all of the whey is draining from the cheese, and we will allow this to drain for minimum of overnight, and then we will check that tomorrow, but it probably has to stay here for another 24 hours or 48 hours or even more, depending on the weather temperature, so that the acidity of the water changes to somewhat about 3 pH, which is somewhat sour. And when it begins to smell, don't be alarmed. That is the way it is supposed to. So it should get a little bit of a smell, and we will get back and let you know exactly when. The room temperature here is about 90 degrees, and I would leave it at that temperature at least for tonight. So we'll get back later.